Hey everyone, welcome back to The Bored Journalist. Today we are examining two disturbing and deeply unsettling cases, stories marked by envy, betrayal, and unresolved questions. The deaths of Valeria Marquez and Shanquella Robinson both highlight a chilling reality, that the most serious threats can often come from those closest to us. These are not just stories of crime, they are stories about trust, betrayal, and a troubling absence of justice. On May 13, 2025, 23-year-old beauty influencer Valeria Marquez was murdered while live streaming from her workplace, a beauty salon in Zapopan, Mexico. Marquez had cultivated a strong online presence through makeup tutorials and beauty content on platforms such as TikTok and Instagram. During her live stream, she was interacting with her followers, holding a stuffed pig from a friend when a man entered the salon. She quickly muted the stream, and seconds later, she was murdered on camera. The footage quickly circulated online. As of now, no suspects have been arrested. However, local media reports suggest that Valeria had recently ended a relationship with a man allegedly connected to the Jalisco New Generation cartel. She had reportedly received threatening messages prior to her death. Authorities are treating this case as femicide. One of the most unsettling elements of this case is the shift in Valeria's demeanor shortly before her death. Observers noted that she appeared uneasy, as if she sensed something was wrong. It raises a broader point. Intuitive discomfort is often dismissed or minimized until it's too late. What's chilling is the girl, the friend, the coworker, whomever she was, walks over and cuts off the camera like she's not crying, she's not screaming, and it's hard to say, woulda, coulda, shoulda if you're in that situation. For me, I would have lost it. I would not have been calm. Truthfully speaking, the camera probably would have still been rolling while I'm calling 911 and just freaking out. And so this is why I believe people are saying that she was set up. I'm going to play this clip from Entertainment Tonight, and you'll see what I'm talking about, where it gets to the end of the video and somebody comes and cuts off the camera for her.
Valeria Marquez, a beauty influencer in Mexico, shot dead while streaming live on TikTok. She was just 23 years old. In the disturbing footage, you can see Valeria sitting inside her salon in suburban Guadalajara, clutching a stuffed toy. She mutes the audio as the killer appears to step inside. We won't show the graphic moment, but in the seconds after she's shot, her body goes limp, blood pools on the table, and a person appears to pick up her phone, their face briefly visible, before the live stream goes dark. Earlier in the footage, a concerned Valeria tells fans someone dropped by the salon with an expensive gift for her when she wasn't there. That suspect is reportedly being sought for what's being called an act of gender-based femicide.
I also want to take the time to watch this TikTok because allegedly that girl that you saw who cut off the live stream may have something to do with this. There is a woman on TikTok, that hat lady, and she translated the messages. Apparently there's messages going around that she was set up from people that were close to her and were supposed to be her friends. So let's take a look at her video.
Help the criminal that took Valeria Marquez's life. I got the receipts. Everything has to come out as planned. Do you understand? That's the first line. You don't get the trouble you're going to be in if this doesn't come out as planned. I'm going to assume this is Vivian. Vivian was the friend that was watching the live and first sent her a Starbucks, then she sent her a pig. Why a pig, by the way? Why did she send her a pig? You need to understand there's a lot of symbols in this whole scenario. Erica is Valeria's employee and other friend. I'm assuming this is what Erica says. Vivi, I'm scared. What if they do something to me as well? Vivian responds, they're not going to hurt you. Just make sure you're not next to Valeria when they come. And then she continues, turn off Valeria's phone when they get there. The one on the left is Erica. They all look alike, don't they? Obviously, the prettiest one was Valeria. She looked like a Barbie. And this is Vivian on the right. They were so jealous of Valeria, they couldn't stand her. And by the way, these two were beefing months ago to the point that they wanted to each other. That's according to Valeria. Can you believe a few months ago you and I were going to each other? That's how much of a beef these two had with each other a few months ago. They were enemies for life, and somehow they made up. But did they really make up though? Or did Vivian feel like it was always going to be on the back of her mind that she hated Valeria and took the opportunity to take her life even though she didn't pull the trigger? These are women that have lost their lives because they trusted their friend. Let that sink in.
The young woman was beautiful. And how much do you have to hate and envy a person to help take them out of this world? It's insane. I've never been envious of anyone to the point where I want to see them dead. Like, what kind of demon are you? What kind of demons live inside of you for you to think that life is not precious and life is not a gift? And here's the thing. You can copy and emulate a person all you want to, but you will never have that essence that's inside of that person that makes them pop. So we're going to transition into the Shanquella Robinson story. Shanquella was only 25 and she was from Charlotte, North Carolina. She traveled to Cabo San Lucas, Mexico in October 2022 with 6 individuals she considered friends. Within 24 hours of her arrival, she was dead. Her alleged friends initially told her family she had died of alcohol poisoning. However, a video later surfaced online showing Shanquella being violently assaulted by one of the women in the group while the others stood by and filmed. An autopsy later revealed that she suffered a severe spinal cord injury and atlas luxation. Despite the evidence, there have been no arrests. Mexican authorities did issue an arrest warrant classifying the case as femicide. However, the suspect has not been extradited. Meanwhile, the FBI concluded there was insufficient evidence to file charges in the United States. More than 2 years later, Shanquella's family continues to seek justice. Her mother, Valeria Robinson, has filed a $100 million lawsuit against the FBI, the U.S. Department of State, and the 6 individuals who traveled with her daughter. The lawsuit alleges negligence and a failure to return Shanquella's personal belongings. The U.S. government has made efforts to dismiss the case or shift jurisdiction. Still, the family maintains that as an American citizen, Shanquella was entitled to a thorough investigation and meaningful accountability. Both of these very beautiful women, Valeria and Shanquella, were prominent, visible, and admired. They possessed beauty, ambition, and a level of self-assurance that garnered attention. In both cases, those qualities may have inspired jealousy among individuals in their immediate circles. These were not only acts of physical violence, they were acts of emotional betrayal. What makes these cases especially tragic is how quickly admiration can turn into resentment, how proximity can mask malicious intent. What connects these two cases for me is the apparent lack of consequences. Despite having video evidence, public awareness, and identifiable persons of interest, both investigations have stalled. In a world filled with surveillance, social media, and digital footprints, one would expect swift and decisive justice. Unless it's just me and I'm not patient enough, I just feel like this should be open and shut. Yet both families are still waiting, and the question becomes less about what happened and more about why justice has been so elusive. We are often warned to be cautious about who we allow into our lives. But these stories make it clear. The most dangerous threats are not always strangers. They are sometimes the ones who sit beside you, travel with you, and call themselves friends. On that note, when I was working on this, one of my favorite songs by TLC popped in my head. It's called What About Your Friends? And I'm going to post Left Eye's verse specifically because that is what was stuck in my mind as I was typing this out. And I know you guys don't want to hear my rap skills, so I'm just gonna leave that posted. What I will say, I think it's hard sometimes to really clock when someone is jealous of you. And I've been in a situation like that where my aunt is like, that girl's not your friend, she's jealous. Then I'll hear it from my mom, that girl is not your friend, she's jealous. And it took a few instances, thank God I didn't get disfigured and lose my life. You know, I've seen another story that I might post where these women are getting acid thrown on their faces. It's insane. And I've never had that in my soul. For me, if you're winning, then we're winning. I'm always rooting for people to succeed. So for somebody to want to see me fail is just, it's still hard for me to wrap my mind around people like that. Be safe and definitely watch your surroundings, watch who you call friends. Sometimes it's not friends, it's family too. Okay, because sometimes, unfortunately, family can't be trusted either. So this is the Bored Journalist, and thank you for watching.